Hi, this is Miss Hagen. I have a cold today, but I will try to talk clearly so you can understand me. I will be looking at the Measuring Toxins review. So this is reviewing for your quiz, and this is just a reminder, every single number you write down, every single answer must have units, okay? On the quiz, if you don't have units, your answer will be marked wrong. This is just a reminder straight up, okay? You got to have those units. Um, Looking at the top, there's a big table, so it has different substances in it: salt, sugar, alcohol, and water. And the first question says, which is the least toxic? In other words, which one would make the worst poison? So the least toxic is the one that you need to give someone the most of to kill them. Okay? So something's not very toxic if you can drink a whole lot of it and not die. So in this case, that would be water. For every kilogram you weigh, you need 90,000 milligrams of water in order to kill you. Okay? The logic goes the opposite for the most toxic. So the most toxic substance, you need to only take a tiny, tiny bit of it to kill you. So in that case, that would be alcohol. Okay? The next question asks you, what is the lethal dose of sugar in milligrams for a 120-pound person? So this is a calculation problem. It's a lethal dose problem. You always start with the person's weight and put it over 1. Okay. Next, you need to cancel out the pounds. Cancel out the pounds that person weighs. So that means you're going to need LB in the bottom. And we only have one relationship with LB, and that's right here. The only thing we know about LB is that in 2.2 LB we have 1 kilogram. So that's really the only place you can go from starting at pounds. Next, we're talking about sugar, so we need to look at the lethal dose of sugar to find out how much sugar would kill someone. That's where you look up at the top. Okay, look in the table for sugar. Now you're ready to multiply straight across, top and bottom, and then you'll come up with your final answer. And what will the units of your final answer be? They should be milligrams. Okay, the question asks you how many milligrams. The next question is very, very similar. There's one thing you need to add on to the end. So you still start with the person's weight and put it over 1. Only one place you can go from pounds. Only one other place you can go from kilograms. You're not going to use this 2,000 yet. You'll use that 2,000 later. Where you need to look is the lethal dose. So we're talking about salt. Okay, and this last bit is the extra thing you need to add on to the end. So in one packet there are 2,000 milligrams. All right? When you do all this math and you multiply straight across, your answer should be about 82 packets. So you want to punch that into your calculator, make sure you're doing it right and you have the right answer. This next question is multiple choice. It says you have 100 grams of 4 different substances and it asks you which has the most atoms. This is one of those questions where I draw a box and then I draw the small pieces and the big pieces. So to find your answer, you want to look for the smallest one. That'll be the one that you need the most of. So you'll look on the periodic table for the molar mass of each of these, and your answer will be the smallest one. Okay. This next question is a little bit different. So you have 1 mole of each of the following compounds, and it asks you which weighs the most. Well, the weight of 1 mole of something is just that mass given on the periodic table. So you'll need to look up the mass, the molar mass from each of them, and you want to pick the biggest. Okay? I'm moving on to the back side now. Calculate the molar mass of ammonium sulfate. So it may be a little bit confusing because of these parentheses, but really there's no need to be confused. This 2 just applies to everything on the inside. Applies to both the N and the H. Another way to write this would be to write so you would go on the periodic table, look up for nitrogen, hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen, add them all up, and you'll get your answer. It should be about 132 grams. So when you do that, you should get about 132 grams, but you should do it on your own to make sure you're doing it correctly. Number 8 is a orange problem. So I'm going to write down what we have on the board for orange. Okay, so the first blank for the grams is the number that's given in the problem, that 50. So this problem is 50. Here, you fill in the molar mass for sodium fluoride, NaF. So if you look this up, sodium, the Na, plus fluorine, okay, 41.99 grams. Now you multiply straight across. Okay, and then you should punch that into your calculator. You should get about 1.16, something around there. This last one, number 9, is probably the trickiest one on the whole page. So this problem's tricky. I'll try to go over the strategy for solving it. So you're given grams of ClCO3. That's what you're given right here, this 100 grams. Now, some of that 100 grams is cobalt, some is chlorine. Your job is to figure out how much of that 100 grams is cobalt. So your strategy, you have grams of cobalt, chloride, you want to convert to moles of cobalt chloride. So we know we can convert from grams to moles. And then you want to convert to moles of just plain old cobalt. All right? So I'll set it up. The first step, here to here, is an orange problem. Okay? You start with the number given in the problem. All right? Here you look up the molar mass for cobalt chloride. So you would look up CO and then Cl times 3. And I think you get about 165. When you do this, your answer is about 0.60 mole. That's the first answer you get. Now you're ready to figure out how much cobalt is in, how much 0.6 moles of cobalt weighs. So this is a yellow problem, all right? And you just need to fill in the molar mass for cobalt, not cobalt chloride, just plain old cobalt. Okay? That should get you your answer, and you should get an answer of about 35 grams. Okay? There are 4 more problems on the bottom. Problem 1 and problem 3 are just like number 8. Problem 2 and problem 4 are just like number 9. So try those on your own for practice, and if you still have questions, come see me.